Hello and welcome to a Cookie Corner of YouTube. Today we're going to look at some very lovely, simple ways to get you back into drawing, to get you back into sketching, to get you back into painting. And it's just a nice, easy exercise that, is quite a bit of fun as well. So watch your space. You may have seen this book floating around. It has a few companions. There's one called Clouds as well. And then just draw what you see. There's like a bigger book. This one's called Cats and Dogs. And it's by an artist called Peng Hu. And they have called it Hirameki, which is a Japanese word. I'm trying to remember what Hirameki means. But yeah, it's a bit like a reverse colouring book, except that you paint a blob, you see what you see in the blob, and then you draw over it with an ink pen. Pretty cool. Yeah, those are the other two. That's draw what you see, and then the one is Clouds there, if you can see that one. Well, I've known this technique for a long, long time. This has been around in all kinds of art clubs, or if you've been at school, sometimes you use this as a way to free up your thinking brain and get connected to the creative side. That is one really nice book if you just want to get in and have a go at creating your own little animals. I find though that these are sometimes shaped towards the thing that you want them to be, so it kind of takes away some of the element of surprise of what you might find in them. And this is obviously named Cats and Dogs, so you're going to be looking for cat and dog shapes in it. But the other ones that I have been looking at, my lovely friend Carla Sonheim, I have the privilege of having some conversations with her back in the day when I was more on Etsy. It was a time. Anyway, Carla and I connected through Etsy and through other people who were also selling on Etsy at that particular time. Carla is a wonderful person. She runs classes. I think she's got a group where she offers classes in drawing, etc. And really, really imaginative lady. But I got these books when they came out. One of them was 2010, the other two were 2012, something like that. Carla Sonheim is her name, and this was the part of the lab books. There was a whole set of them. There was Collage Lab, Print and Stamp Lab, Creative Paint Workshop for Mixed Media Artists. I got all those because I was really into the format of these books. I liked them a lot, and they were by Quarry. So I did get this one specifically because it was by Carla, and I love Carla's style so much. But in this one, I'll go on to that one in a minute. In this one, she has an exercise which is called Painting with Blobs or something like that. Inspired by animals, got to be in here somewhere. So many different beautiful exercises that you can do in here. You can't fail to be inspired by it. Maybe it's not in this one, maybe it's in the other one. Well, I'll go through the technique with you anyway. But yeah, this is paint blobs. There we go. I've lost it again now. Painting blobs, one-eyed monsters, all my kind of favourite things. You can see why I love Carla's work. Scribble drawings, yes. Paint blobs. So you start off with some paint of your choice. In my case, it's going to be watercolour because that's what I'm going to be using for this. You can use anything. You can use acrylic, watered down acrylic. You could use acrylic inks. You could use ordinary inks. Whatever you want to use. If you don't want it to move afterwards, you want it to be something that's permanent. But I don't care because I'm going to go with the watercolour. But yeah, if you're interested in lots of different drawing techniques, it's a really good book. This is another one by Carla, which is drawing and painting imaginary animals right up my street. We'll have a look at some of these at some point. Blobimals, that's what she called it, watercolour blobimals. So yeah, you get up your paint, you make it nice and watery, you make it runny, and you paint a few blobs on a piece of paper and then see what you can see in them. So that's what we're going to do. So let me pop those to one side and I'll grab out my watercolour paper and let's have a go at making some blobs. So for this, I've got a sheet of fairly thinnish watercolour paper. It doesn't need to be anything specific, special or whatever. Mixed media paper would work just as well. It's just an exercise to get your brain going. And so I've got some water in a jar and I have a brush. Always helpful when you do watercolour. For this, I'm going to be using these core watercolours. I've got some in my little palette top there that I'm going to use up just because I've already got them, and why the heck not? So, without any thoughts in your brain at all, you kind of just get, oh, I've got a bit of blue on there, doesn't really matter. Just get some shape down there in the water, and then get your paints kind of flowing a bit, and then just drop them in. You can see I'm not really having a lot of thought with this at all. I love these core high chromas because when they mix together, they create such beautiful colours. Like, look at that green coming through there. So you're not thinking about it. I'm not thinking about it. You can even do it onto dry if you want. You can kind of direct it a little more, but you don't want to think about it too much. You don't want to too much concentration. None of that. I know that purple and orange make a brownie colour, but I kind of like that as well. Colour theory. Let's try and make a different kind of a shape. What we're going to go with, let's do a long thin one here. Get some orange in. Oh, yeah. Put a bit of pink in there. Wow. Just have fun. Just have fun painting some blobs. They don't have to be anything. They're not any shape. They're not specifically being something. They are just blobs at this particular point in time. Ooh, look at that nice purple that makes. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. Lovely, lovely. Just go a bit weird and a bit woo. So I'm going to wet the paper again. It's great, this one, because you never really know what you've got until you put the paint down. Helps if I have it in camera line, doesn't it? Just let it splodge it and spread. That's really cool. Splodge and spread. And some more in there. So I've got about 5 different blobs there, as you can see. The only other thing you're going to need now, well, there are 2 things you're going to need now, is a fine liner pen and your imagination. So we're going to let this dry. Let me wipe a little scrap of... I'm using this fabric scraps to pick up any bits of paint I might collect. I'm going to dab that one on there. collecting pieces of paint, just because. Okay, so I'm going to put that over there. This is going to dry, but while that's drying, let me give you an idea of what we're looking at. So that can go and sit over there for a minute. So these are blobs I made earlier, and with my fine liner pen I've managed to locate 2 creatures. Not necessarily creatures you may uncover on the streets of your town, but definitely 2 creatures, and I love them. I'm loving him. He's got kind of a rough street look about him, street dog. This guy, not sure if he's some kind of a monkey or whatever he is. He's got a fang, so he's kind of hanging out somewhere. Got a weird tail, but it gets you thinking, doesn't it? It gets you thinking. Right, let's see if I've got any others that I did. Oh, yeah. Now, if you haven't got any watercolour paints, but you are a digital artist and you use Procreate or Fresco, it is really easy to create some blobs on Fresco, print it out, and you can then draw your animals. Look at this. I love him so much. He's wearing a cloak because he's obviously some kind of a superhero. We've got a little snail going on down here. I don't know how I saw a snail, but I did. And this guy and his best friend. What a pretty picture. So you can see it is just about using your imagination, seeing what you can see. It's like when you lie on the grass and you look up at the clouds and somebody says, oh, I can see a dragon over there. Well, that's basically the system that we were looking at here. If you can see faces in tiles, if you can see dragons in clouds, then you can easily do this. So those are just a couple of the ones I've done. And while we're waiting for that other one to dry, let's see what we can see in this one. I shall just go and grab my fine liner and we shall find an animal. It doesn't have to be a fine liner either. It can be, this one is Uniball Vision Elite pen. So we're going to have a go with this. So what can I see? I can see some ears here. Let's get those in. And a long snout coming down there. Give them some teeths. I do like teeth. That's going to be an eye. That's going to be an eye. Right. Ooh. So this is his body. You can go out of the lines a bit as well. You don't have to be religious with it. That's his armsies. And this looks to be some kind of a wing. So I'm going to get that in there. He's like a cross between, I don't know, you'll have to find a name for him. That's your job. Okay. You've got a back leg coming out here. And this is a swooshy tail. Swishing around from there. Yeah, I'm going to give him some claws. I love his goofy face. He's only got one leg there, so maybe he's just got one that's hanging out behind there. So, yeah, unknown animal found and achieved. Let's draw some more feathers on his back here. That's his wing. It starts there. So, unknown winged animal. That's what we got with that one. Okay, let's have a look and see at the other ones. See what else we can do with. Let's have a look at this one. These are all painted on watercolour postcards, by the way. You can turn them around as well. They don't have to be the same way. Ooh. Okay, so here I'm going to go like that. He's got a headband on. Looks like some kind of dangerous floofy duck creature at the moment. He's definitely a fluffy boy. Let's give him some floof down there. Oh, he's got a heart on his chest. So he's not as tough as he makes out. He's got his rocky headband going on here. Let's give him that proper beak. While we're at it, let's give him some feet. So additions can be made to factor in your creature. Oh, now then, what can I see in this one? He looks like some kind of a beast. Again, with the teeth. We've got a swoopy round bit there, and an eyeball there, and an eyeball there. Take that down there. It's got a bit of a quiff coming down here. Ooh, got like an arm or a winged arm coming up here. Let's make it a wing, shall we? That's his body. And what kind of a legs shall we give him? What do you think? These creatures are all going to need names. As I say, it's all up to you. Well, this one's got some kind of a bench notch. It's got an eyeball there. It's coming around. There's his ear. And coming down here. And the little legs that go there. That's him. Okay, last one on this page. What can we see here? Okay. Come down there. We've got some kind of feet going on there. Big nose there. I'm going to turn him sideways because that's where I see him. This is his body. We've got a floofy tail that comes around there. There he is. Don't know what he is, but he's there. And he wasn't there before. Okay, so now you've got the general idea, you can go ahead and paint up some blobby blobs with your watercolor paper, or as I say, you can do it with a digital program. So if you go into Fresco, Fresco I find is the easier one out of the two for doing these particular watercolor blobs, because it's kind of like a really cool feature where the paint just moves around like proper watercolor. So I really like using that. This one's still drying, so I'll be playing with that one later. But if you haven't got any watercolor paints, you haven't got any means of creating some digitally or whatever, then I'm going to put a page of blobs for you to download, and let's see what you can make. They're not going to be any of these, so you can't have a look at what I did and have a go. You've got to use your imagination. So it's going to be a page full of blobs that you can download for free. And if you want to show me what you've done with the blobs, I suggest that if you've got Instagram, upload it to Instagram and tag me. So it's at Cool Kooky Creatures on Instagram, and I'll be able to find your blobimals or blob animals or whatever you want to call them. And I'll see what you made. I hope you're going to enjoy this. It's just a lot of fun for a Friday. We all need a little bit of a break on a Friday, don't we? It's been a busy week. So Friday is now Blobimal Day. Have fun with your painting, drawing, sketching, using your imagination, and I will see you back here soon with something else. Bye for now.